let's talk materials. So for this guy, you will need, for me at least, I use 2 colors of yarn. The popsicle is striped, so if you want to use 3 different colors, feel free. If you want to use 1 color, that is up to you as well. We will need a stitch marker, which I always carry on my brace here. We will need just the standard stuff: yarn needle, you'll need some polyfill, you will need your 3.5mm hook. Again, that's my favorite. You will also need some safety eyes. For me, I used a 10mm. For me, that's right there. Feel free to play around with the eye size, but this is what I used for me. And that is it. Oh, you will need scissors. My bad. You're gonna need some scissors. Okay, let's go ahead and get into the pattern. Alrighty, let's get going with the body of our popsicle. We are going to start with a chain 6. So 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, and 6. I am going to place my stitch marker just because it makes it easier to identify when the end of the round has come. So round number 2, we are going to do 4 single crochets. 1, 2, 3, 4. And in that last little stitch right here, we're going to do 3 single crochets, all in that same stitch. So 1, 2, 3. Now we're going to flip our chain over and we're going to start crocheting on the other side of our chain. Pretty much the same thing. So we're going to do 4 single crochets and then 3 single crochets in that final stitch. So we're going to go into our first one, which is right here. We're going to do 1 and close that hole just a little bit. 2, 3, 4, and we're going to do 3 single crochets in that final stitch, which is right there. So 1, 2, and 3, and that takes us right back to our first stitch, which is exactly what we want. If you find that there's a bit of a hole right here, you can pull on your tail and it should tighten it up just a little bit. All right, so row number 3, and for this pattern we are crocheting on both sides, all the way around. So this right here is one complete row. Okay, so for row number 3, we're doing 5 single crochets and then 2 increases all the way around. So what that looks like is 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, and we are doing 2 increases, which is 2 single crochets in the same stitch. So that's 1, 2 in that stitch. 2 in that stitch. Now in our second one, we're doing 1 and then 2. Now flip our chain over and we're gonna go another 5. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, and then we should have 2 left. 1, 2. We're doing increases. So 1, 2, and then 1, 2. All right, so for row number 4, we are doing 5 single crochets and 4 increases. Okay, so 1 single crochet, 2 single crochets, 3, 4, 5, and 4 increases. So 1 increase. This is our second increase. Our third increase. And our fourth increase. And we're going to repeat that pattern. So 5 single crochets. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, and then 4 increases. That's 1. This is our second, third, and we should have 1 more stitch left. And this is our 4th increase. Okay, we're past the hard part now. So rows 5 through 7 is going to be 1 single crochet in each stitch. You should have a total of 26, and this is going to be in our primary color. For me, that's going to be blue. So we should have 26 all the way around. I'll go ahead and do this round with you, make sure we have the 26, and then I'll come back after we do row 7. So that was 1, 2, 3, and I'll speed up just a little bit. 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10, 11, 12, 13, 14, 15, 16, 17, 18, 19, 20, 21, 22, 23, 24, 25, and 26. Okay, we are good. So that was my row number 5. I'm going to go ahead and do rows 6 and 7, and I'll meet you back here to show you that color change. Remember, at the end of row 7, we're going to change into our secondary color. So that last stitch, go ahead and switch your color, and I'll meet you back here. Alrighty, so I have finished my row number 7. I am on row number 8. Remember, we changed our color at the end of row 7. For me, color number 2 is white. And you'll also notice that I didn't cut my primary color because we're going to come back and use that in row 11. If you cut it, that's fine. You can just reattach, but I leave mine there just because it's a little bit easier. Okay, so rows 8 through 10 is going to be just 1 single crochet in each stitch all the way around. And for those of you who watch me quite often, you'll notice that I do this all the time, that the tail from the color change, I just crochet over it because it makes my life easier when it's time to weave in ends. It's one less end I have to weave in, and you know, as crocheters, we hate absolutely hate weaving in ends. It's a pain in the backside. So go ahead and do rows 8 through 10, and I will meet you back to explore the rest of the pattern. And remember, when you get to the end of row number 10, you are changing your color. So I'm going back to my primary color, which is the teal, but you don't have to use the same color as the first portion. You can definitely get creative, but just at the end of row number 10, you want to change your color. All right, so I will meet you back here when I am done with my row number 10, and we will continue crocheting together. All right, so I am at the end of my row number 10. I did change my color back to teal because that's what I want my popsicle to look like. If you're using a different color, go ahead and attach that color for your final color change. And we are, oh man, I cut the wrong cord, the wrong string. Help me, Lord. Let me go ahead and reattach. And I've been meaning to do a video on this anyways. Reattaching yarn. I actually learned this a couple of years ago. I think it was like a Pinterest post someone had put out. And I was like, oh my gosh, this makes so much sense because I was joining my yarns some crazy type of way. But anyway, Okay, so we are at row number 11. So row number 11 through 17 is more of the same, one single crochet in each stitch. We just changed our color. So what I like to do though is go ahead and do row 11, and then we're going to attach our plastic safety eyes. Okay, so let's do row 11 together. Let me get those joins out of the way. We'll do row 11 together, and then we'll insert the plastic safety eyes, and then I'll leave you to your own devices to do the rest of our rows. And if you haven't checked out the other playlist that I have, go ahead and do that. The last month of, what was it, May? Yeah, my birthday month, May. For the month of May, we did a dreamy series. It was actually really cute. We did clouds and ladybugs and stars, and all of them had like a dreamy expression on their face. That was really cute. So go ahead and check those videos out. If you're a beginner crocheter, I also have some videos that explains things like, you know, how to hold your crochet hook, how to hold your yarn, simple stitches that you see in amigurumi, like this, the single crochet, the double crochet, things like that. All right, we are at the end of row 11, so let's go ahead and insert those plastic safety eyes. If I can get my stitch marker in there. All right, so let me get my plastic safety eyes. We are using 10mm eyes. For me, that's right here. So let me just grab a couple of those. Don't forget to grab the backs as well. And close this guy up. I always fear this thing is going to tip over and all my eyes are going to come out. I've actually done that with one of my other containers. It was all the same size. No, I lie. It was not the same size. I had to resort them, and it was, oh my gosh, it was a pain in the butt. Okay, so for the eyes, we are attaching the eyes at between rows 8 and 9 in stitches 1 and 6. You can count the rows, but what I like to do is just look at the first 2 rows of our color change. So if you look at this row and that row, technically it should be rows 8 and 9. Let's test that theory. So 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, and 9. Yeah. So between the first row of the color change and the second row of the color change, we're going to insert our eyes. So I'm going to put mine, I don't know, about there. We can always move it if we don't like it. So that was stitch number 1. 2, 3, 4, 5, and 6. So between rows 8 and 9 in stitches 1 and 6, and I actually like that, so I'm going to go ahead and put my backs on. Curve side down, push it in. The snap is so satisfying to me. Go ahead and put my second one in, and that's just a really good place to insert the eyes, because when you get further down it just gets a big hassle to like flip your work inside out, insert the eyes. Just do it now, get it over with, and then continue your rounds. So that was row number 11. We are on row number 12. So rows 12 through 17 is going to be one single crochet in each stitch. And we are going to start closing this guy out at row number 18. So go ahead and go to row number 17, one single crochet in each stitch, and I'll meet you back here. Alrighty, so this is what I'm looking like after row number 17, and we're coming right along. It kind of reminds me of like the Pac-Man ghost right now. Right now, though. What's his name, like Blinky or something, the blue one? Okay, so for row number 18, we are doing 10 single crochets, decrease, 12 single crochets, and then a decrease. So let's start with our 10. So 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10, and we're ready for our decrease. And then we're doing 12 single crochets and a decrease. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10, 11, 12. And you should have 2 left for your decrease, which I do. Go ahead and decrease. And we are actually going to set this guy aside because we're going to work on our popsicle stick. You can actually cut, no, don't cut your yarn. Don't cut your yarn. My bad. Don't listen to me right now. Don't cut your yarn. But put this guy aside and we are going to get the color for our stick. For me, that's going to be this tan color here. And we're only going to do 3 rows. It's 6 rows, excuse me. We're only going to do 6 rows. It's super simple. To start it out, we're going to chain 5. Same concept as the body. So chain 5 in the regard that we're going to crochet on both sides of the chain. So that was 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. I'm going to place my stitch marker. We are doing 3 single crochets and then 3 single crochets in the next stitch. And what that looks like is 1, 2, 3, 3 single crochets in that last one. So 1, 2, 3. And we're repeating that pattern on the other side of the chain. So we're gonna find our first little half a chain there. Put in 1, 2. Uh-oh, let me get my toe out the way there. 2, 3. And then in that last stitch, we are doing 3. So 1, 2, and I am crocheting over that tail because like I was telling you with the body, if you want to tighten that hole on the end, you're gonna need to crochet over that tail. And for me, I do. I want to close that hole just a little bit. So I'm gonna pull on this guy. You can see how it just closes it just a little bit. Okay. For row number 3, because technically that was a row number 2, we're counting our chain 5 as 1 row. So row number 3, we are doing 1 single crochet in each stitch, and you should have 12 stitches. So let's do the first one together, and then I'll leave you to your own devices for the rest. So 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10, 11, and this should be our last one, 12. Okay, so I have finished my row number 6 and I am going to go ahead and fasten off and cut my yarn. You don't need a tail for this one really. We're gonna tuck this guy into the body of our popsicle, but what we do need to do is stuff both our body and our stick. For me, I didn't stuff this guy too firm, just because if you stuff him too firm, it's gonna be, you know, a little bit more plump, and ice cream for me, popsicles are a little bit more flat. So I just stuffed enough to where it was, you know, the shape that I wanted, I guess is the best way to say it. Okay, so our guy is all stuffed. Remember, our popsicle body is still attached to working yarn. We did not fasten off. I just told you to put it aside because what we're gonna do is close this guy up and we're gonna insert our stick into a hole we're going to create in our body. So the way we do that is we are going to take both sides of our last round. We're gonna pinch them together with our polyfill inside. And we are going to do 2 single crochets. So we're going to take the furthest 2 stitches, single crochet those sides, excuse me, those sides together. Now we're going to take the back half of that row, and we're going to slip stitch 6 times. And this is going to create our hole. That was 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, and then we're gonna pinch our sides together again, line them up as best you can, doesn't have to be perfect, and then we're gonna add in 3 single crochets. So 1, 2, and 3. Now fasten off and leave a pretty decent tail for sewing because we're gonna need that to sew our popsicle stick in. And that tail's obnoxiously long. You don't have to do yours as long as I did mine. But here's the hole that we created. And we want to take our stick and we are going to kind of snug it into that hole and get our yarn needle, and we're gonna go to work and attaching this guy. So go ahead and take your working yarn, yarn it through. That's not a phrase. We're gonna make it a phrase today though. Go ahead and put it through your yarn needle. I'm just taking my working yarn, I'm getting it to the edge to where my popsicle stick is. And it's okay if your popsicle stick falls out because it's getting a little impatient with us, and that's fine. So we want to find that first of the 6 stitches, just like that. Go ahead and we're gonna go through the first stitch in our popsicle stick and go out to the other side. And we're gonna find the stitch on the back of our body, on the back of that hole that we made. And this is gonna be a little bit tough because these are slip stitches, and that's okay. So we're just gonna attach that guy just like that. On the back, we're gonna go in to a stitch on our body, go into the back row of our popsicle stick, come through the front in that same stitch, or the same equivalent stitch I should say, and then we're gonna attach that to our body, the front row, just like that. And we're doing this all the way down. And that's how we're going to attach our stick. I won't speed through this one. I won't time lapse it, just so you can see what I'm doing. This is a bit of a different process if you've never done it before, and I just want to make sure you got it. And I try to make all my patterns as beginner friendly as possible, so it's not an exact science. If you don't follow exactly what I'm doing, your pattern and your project should still work out fine. If your numbers don't match, or if you find yourself having, you know, an extra stitch or one less stitch, it's okay. It's all right. I understand that. Like when you're starting to crochet, things don't add up. It is what it is. And so the patterns that I create, I try to be cognizant of that. So if, you know, you don't end up with exactly the same numbers that I do, that, you know, your project still works for you and it's still fairly cute. All right, I'm coming to the end, and we do want to go ahead and tuck that tail that we had. Go ahead and tuck it into our work. I'm just going to use my crochet hook to help me out. Just kind of tuck that in. That's why I say you don't need a long tail. You just need the tail long enough to where your work doesn't come undone. And then we're just going to continue with attaching this guy just like we were doing before. Let me just make sure you can see that. Just like we were doing before, and it should be easier the further down you get. that's pretty much it for attaching. Once you get to the end, you can fasten off and then just hide your, or you're not fastening off because we're already fastened off, but you can hide your yarn in your work somewhere. And I just like to make sure it's super secure. Let's do another pass through here. All right, and I'm gonna go ahead and hide my work. Hide my yarn. Just by putting it in and out of the work a couple of times. This thing is not going anywhere because I did a little knot, but I just want to make sure. Okay, cut that. Go ahead and throw away our excess, and this is what we're looking like so far. And so that's why I was telling you, like, you know, don't stuff too much. If you stuff, especially the stick, too much, it's gonna look like, you know, kind of weird. It's gonna be more like a tumor than a stick. So go ahead and stuff lightly, or, you know, as much as you want. Is your project. The only thing we have to do now is the mouth. And so the way we're going to do the mouth is very, very similar, if not exactly the same as we did the eyes for our Dreamy series. And the way we're going to do that is, I was threading my yarn. We're going to take our needle, go through the back of the work just so it's out of the way. We're going to come up wherever you want the mouth. For me, I start in the last row of that color change. And then you want to go over 2 stitches. And I just come up in the middle of the bottom row between those 2 stitches, just like that. Now I'm gonna go into that line I just made and come back out into that bottom stitch, and then come out in the same way that I came in the back, just because it's easier to hide that way. For the Dreamy series, I told you guys that I didn't really want the V, but I actually kind of like the V in this tasty treat. So I'm gonna leave it as is, and I'm actually gonna put a little bit tighter because I wanted to find that V. There we go. And then just hide your yarn, and we are done, y'all. So let me go ahead and hide my yarn. I'll show you what I have. And this is my little guy. He is really, really, really cute. I actually made a couple. One that I was, you know, making the pattern for, and then I just got carried away in creating, but these are super cute. I like to leave you with some, you know, just some ways that you can use these guys. So if you are a vendor, you definitely can sell these. Just credit me as the pattern creator. You can make keychains. I'm a sucker for keychains. If you've been following my channel, you kind of know that. I put a keychain on anything right about now. You could make the eyes smaller. You can make the expressions different, play around with the colors, all of that. You could, and what I mean by playing around with the colors is you could increase this band just by, you know, for me, the white or the orange in this case is only 3 rows. If you increase or decrease, you can definitely change the look of this guy or add another stripe. That'd be cute too. But that is it for today. Hopefully you all enjoyed it. Don't forget to crochet some cool stuff this week. Stay safe, and don't forget to like and subscribe. Leave comments if you found this super, super helpful, and I will see you all next week.